Hi, this is Rahman Sheikh. Welcome to Fortnightly Railway Transportation Systems podcast. I am the host and railway systems specialist working in this industry for 24 years and counting. This podcast is primarily focused on railway experts who have vast amount of experience and contributed greatly to this amazing industry. This is not a technical seminar but focuses on feel good stories, individual journeys, their success and failures, motivating younger generation to kickstart their career in railways and creating a sense of pride for the railway people who devoted their lives on the most environment friendly public transportation. Hello and welcome to Railway Transportation Systems podcast, where we explore the latest trends and insights in the world of railway transportation systems. I am thrilled to have a distinguished guest with us today. She is a prominent figure in the field of cybersecurity with a wealth of experience in transport sector. Our guest today is Alzbeta Helienek, affectionately known as Betty. Betty is a certified expert in the application of ISA 62443, bringing a robust foundation of cybersecurity skills to the table. She serves as the cybersecurity capability lead and technical director at WSP, delivering invaluable advice and thought leadership to clients. Betty doesn't stop there. She was on the advisory board of the UK's Cybersecurity Council formation project. Her influence extends to the Cybersecurity Technical Committee of ISS Smart Manufacturing and IIoT, to which she just 2 days ago was appointed committee lead and division board member. As a testament to her dedication, Betty started WSP's cybersecurity capability, which now, after only 3 years, is growing rapidly and delivering for domestic and international clients, including Australia. Her role involves providing key customers in this area with expert advice and thought leadership, as well as building capability and the team at home and across the globe. Betty's impact goes beyond her professional roles. She is a contributor to numerous publications, papers, and webinars, and recently a book, Cybersecurity in Transportation Systems, solidifying her status as a thought leader in the realm of cybersecurity. If you want to learn more about her journey and insights, you can find her on LinkedIn. Without further ado, let's welcome Alzbeta Betty Helienek to the show. Betty, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Rahman, for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Me too. I have given a long intro, Betty, but predominantly let's cover your transport sector. So can you share a bit about your journey in becoming a cybersecurity specialist with a focus on transport sector? What sparked your interest in this field?
Actually, my journey began the other way around. I was first in the transport sector and then added cybersecurity specialism to it. So I actually come from safety critical systems engineering in the railway sector. And actually my railway career started off really well. Some of the railway engineering firsts I participated in and had an active part, like the first ETCS Level 1 project, the first ETCS Level 2 project in the world, the first SIL 4 approved command and control center on a virtualized platform. So it was going pretty well, but my natural interest in cybersecurity, I actually did another degree whilst I was already working, security management, and an opportunity arose to actually combine those two interests when in the summer 2013, I know the European Commission started a research project to strengthen really the European railway industry. And there were several proposals on what to do and product and technical demonstrators to be built. And there was one suggestion that was cybersecurity for the railway. But beneath it, it was blank, nothing, just the title. So I asked my boss, please, can I go to Brussels and explain to them the difference between safety and security? And that was it. That was really the kickstart of combining these two sectors and now more and more specializing really in cybersecurity for safety critical systems.
What a journey. I think we need to delve more into this differentiation, safety and security. And you're pretty much into most of the signaling field as well. Betty, moving further, as a cybersecurity capability lead at a WSP, would you highlight some of the key challenges and opportunities you have encountered in providing expert advice to clients in transportation industry?
Yeah, interesting question. Yes, I would say one thing that a lot of the transport project that I am supporting have is they are in some sort of transition state of accepting that cybersecurity is a important topic. It needs to be dealt with. It doesn't help to hide from it, otherwise it just gets worse if you do that. But somehow they quite don't know how to do that. I can give an example of a project that I'm supporting here in Australia, which is a huge infrastructure project for a railway operator. And it is really the first time they are demanding of the supplier to provide threat and risk assessments, to provide proper cybersecurity controls within their product, to provide mechanisms so that they can operate it securely for the next 40 years. And it's a bit of a struggle and a bit of a challenge to really get all the controls and all the security within this project. Everyone, from the supplier to the operator to the authorities in Australia, it is kind of first time being confronted with it. So everyone is trying to find the right thing to look out for. But in the background, they're already preparing requirements lists, much better templates for the next project. So the next project will be almost smooth sailing compared to this first one. I am supporting now a lot of projects that are in this phase. They are doing it for the first time, or they are really trying to do it properly for the first time and implementing really cybersecurity from the beginning into their big projects. And yes, there are some kinks to be found, and I'm sure the next phases or the next projects of this similar type will be already benefiting from a huge lessons learned curve.
Yeah, and I think this is really a key challenge, Betty. But hearing to you, especially about bringing controls and securing the project for the next 40 years, because cyber threats are continuous. So once we bring certain controls and make sure it is secure for 40 years for one particular project, do you think we can cover for the next 40 years with these controls?
Yes, because look, cybersecurity life cycle, it doesn't only look at kind of the front end, the protection side, what protection controls do you put in, but also a lot of the controls sit in the area of business continuity, incident management, maintenance. So cybersecurity maintenance is one of particularly important control, which asks the question, you need a mechanism in your safety critical software to still be able to update it at least every 6 months or every year in case new vulnerabilities are discovered that now, today, we don't know about, but maybe, will be discovered in 20 years. You still need a mechanism to then still keep it secure over 40 years. So a control isn't only on the protection side of transport systems, but also very important, don't forget the maintenance side and how to keep things secure, and also just going into operations knowing that incidents will happen, but how do you deal with those incidents? Are you prepared for them, and can you contain them, and can you recover? That is the way more important question to ask.
I really loved listening to you, Betty. That's why you're a cybersecurity lead. Before I go into my next question, I'm really stuck at your intro and want to ask you, where can I buy your book, which you wrote on cybersecurity in transportation systems?
Well, it is available from the IET, the Institute of Engineering and Technology. It is an international organization, but of course UK based, with offices in London and the library. So I had to lend a copy out of the IET library so I can, because I was one of the many contributing authors, and I just wanted to read the book after years in the making from cover to cover, how it turned out.
when I get a chance, I will definitely have a read through.
But there is a digital edition, so it is available as an ebook.
Is it free or do I have to pay?
No. The IET wants to cover their costs.
Okay. When I publish your podcast on LinkedIn, if you can give me the link, I will add that in your intro so that people, if they are interested, they can go there and buy it. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So moving to my next question, you were an advisory board member of the UK's Cybersecurity Council formation project. How do you see the landscape of cyber threats evolving in the transportation sector, and what measures are being taken to address these challenges?
Well, let's maybe talk about the threats or most growing threats in the transportation sector. And that is, the transportation sector, specifically when we talk about railways, roads, connected autonomous vehicles coming, aviation sector, a huge part of it forms what we call OT, operational technology, industrial control systems, safety critical, mission critical systems. And what we are seeing is the steep rise of really tailored to specific industries like railway, like aviation industry, of ransomware. So really targeting specific solutions, specific, PLCs, specific types of technology used in these transport sectors. And you can imagine the consequences if a ransomware hits part of your infrastructure and makes it literally unavailable. What do you do then? So those are the threats I'm talking about. No matter how much you prepare and try to protect from them at the beginning, they are constantly evolving and they are becoming more and more sophisticated and more targeted. It is very difficult to protect against that. What best solution is, when you're being hit by ransomware, what do you do then? You can recover. You can recover from it quickly. That is the key control in this case. So unfortunately, malicious hackers have discovered the transport sector as being very lucrative and or being able to cause massive disruption in a country, in a city. Hence, they are becoming more and more interesting as a target.
Great answer. We cannot control it, but we got a measure to recover. So how do we recover? Do we have a redundant system? That's the way?
It is honestly an answer dependent on the system, what your system is. If it's like traffic management system, it might be much easier to, with hot, warm, etc., stand by backup systems. If it's a SIL4 system, really the safety critical core, it needs a bit more thought behind it. And yes, it will be a bit more complicated. But it really depends on the system itself, on the complexity. What do you do and how do you set up your backups? And also very importantly, how do you train your backups? Have you ever tried to recover from a backup, set up the system brand new from scratch? So that is an important part of also to train people and operators and everyone around you in cybersecurity.
Wow, beautiful answer. I like it. Did you ever tried it? Did you ever failed it and tested it? Beautiful answer. We should keep doing this. And going to my next question, it's about your role. In your role in the Cybersecurity Technical Committee of ISS Smart Manufacturing and IIoT, what trends are you currently observing in the integration of cybersecurity into industrial systems, especially in the context of transportation infrastructure?
Oh, that is a really good question. Honestly, I'm very, very encouraged about the trend, where it's going, and what all the components, product and system manufacturers and big suppliers are going. They are improving their products. They are thinking at the beginning of their R&D process about how do we add these cybersecurity controls? How can a system be really securely maintained over decades? Really into their processes from the beginning. So there are more and more products popping up have cybersecurity controls integrated already. And it's a really good trend and very encouraging and will make our lives in the future decades, of course, much easier. It unfortunately doesn't take away the huge amount amount of legacy systems we still have to deal with, and that where we also need practical solutions how to keep them secure until they are end of life. Some of them still have 35 years left out in the field. It is a mixed system sector at the moment.
Great answer, Betty. I think you covered this question for the new project and also the legacy ones without me answering. So I got a follow-up question. How about if we are in the middle of the project and we missed adding cyber security measures in the beginning? So how can we get it in the middle of the project? How can we add it then? And how critical or how tough it is to add?
In general, very tough. It's not an easy task. Because yes, if you have, for example, add some technical controls into your system, then you can compensate partially for it by covering with good policies and procedures and good training of your people. But somewhere at the end of the day, we need to find a way when you do updates or upgrades in these systems that these updates and upgrades include more and more and more cybersecurity and cybersecurity thinking behind why you are upgrading it. So you don't have to produce a system that is absolutely perfect. You can update it. You can make it better over its life cycle. I mean, that is the very nature of cybersecurity, that you can continuously improve things, but everyone needs to be pulling in the right direction and wanting to make the system even over its operational life cycle better and better and better from a cybersecurity maturity perspective.
Oh, beautiful answer, Betty. Let's move to our next question. Intelligent transportation systems is a rapidly evolving field. How do you envision the future of cybersecurity in these systems, and what are the key considerations of ensuring the security of the intelligent transportation network?
Intelligent transport systems are rapidly evolving, but so is cybersecurity, so are the cybersecurity controls, so is the cybersecurity technology that can help these technologies become more and more secure. So thankfully, as I said, with every generation of a new transport technology, we are able to add more and better controls and procedures into the systems themselves to make them more securely manageable than over its operational lifetime. And the key challenges we have at the moment is that transport systems, typically, whether you look at road, railways, is that it's a often geographically very vast distributed network. Now, a lot augmented with IoT and industrial IoT systems. So just the huge size and complexity of the network is very complex to manage and control, and specifically from a cyber perspective, to monitor your network. That means that every single point in the network must be put into the network, must be added with cybersecurity in mind, and that is really a Herculean task.
Really great answer, Betty. You go such deep into the system and components and subsystem. I love hearing to you, but we need to move forward because there are so many questions lined up. I would go to my next question. Could you also share some insights into the role of ISA 62443 in cybersecurity and how its application is particularly relevant to the transport sector?
Well, just a few months ago, I actually told the story in a half-hour presentation or webinar. Let me summarize it really quickly here for everyone who's listening. When we were at the beginning of the railway cybersecurity journey and we're looking to develop a standard under Helienek, we looked at existing standards at that time, which was 2013, 2014. And everything that we could find was all very about information security, privacy, very much data security focused. And when you, for example, try to apply an ISO 27000 onto railway systems, onto an interlocking, it didn't match, it didn't feel good. There were so many issues with it because safety critical systems, as you all know, transport systems have a different life cycle. They have a different criticality, a different purpose. Issues solving, control, patch management just doesn't work in systems where you need 6 months just to approve a piece of critical software. So we were looking and found this 62443 series, which actually came from a lot driven by the energy and oil and gas sector, because they as well found that this operational and safety critical technology just works in their own way and has their special needs. One is the huge life cycle, the long asset lives it is to deal with different and legacy systems, and this relationship between safety and security. So when we, from the Senelec committee, when we looked at the ISA 62443 series, we were like, finally someone speaks our language, finally someone mentions safety in the context of security. And we then looked in detail so much at the series, we liked it so much that the Senelec 5701, the technical specification, is hugely based on 62443. It is 90% the content. So, and we then added the architecture diagram to map specific railway technologies and railway assets to the architecture that 62443 proposes. So it already was a really good fit. And I have to say, lots of the transport systems, especially when it becomes safety and mission critical, they all reference and base their industry-specific standards on 62443 now.
Great answer, Betty. I think I should appreciate, because the 30 minutes of webinar, you shortlisted it into 3 to 4 minutes.
I tried.
However, given your role in information project of UK's Cybersecurity Council, what role do you see education playing in preparing the next generation of cybersecurity professionals for the unique challenges posed by the transportation sector?
Oh, that's very good. We need to think about the next generation. And I am someone, I like to work and hire grad engineers just to see with what level of knowledge and education they actually come out of the universities. And I have some really great cybersecurity grad students who I just threw into the transport sector, and I discovered, yes, in university they receive a really good education, but it's all again mostly around the IT systems. And then you throw them into the real world of the transport sector and they start to discover OT, safety, this long asset life cycle management, how complex systems are, and that you can't just, exchange anything after a decade. And it's very interesting to see them thrive and be interested in it, and to see how cybersecurity really directly influences their physical world around them, because suddenly their journey with the train to work, or getting into a car and driving somewhere, they are way more aware how much influence their work is on their daily life and on our daily life. So that's really great to see. But what I am missing a little bit, and what I'm trying to advocate for, is that what we need is at least a course or a module of cybersecurity with all the other engineering disciplines. Because let's face it, there are way too few of us. We can't just have cybersecurity in transport system specialists to cover all the work that is necessary. Cybersecurity is everyone's business, and every other engineering discipline needs to understand and learn and be able to think and to implement in their systems in a secure way. And then really I think we can benefit, both sectors, both industries coming together and benefiting from each other. And yes, that might include a cybersecurity module for mechanical engineers. And if you think that is too far-fetched, no. I just recently finished a piece of work for a client where we were talking about cybersecurity in the field of construction IoT. Huge. The sector, for example, the road sector, is now at a massive transformation in just how they are building roads, how they are developing their infrastructure, and is very much IoT and digital technologies driven, just mentioning digital twin. And that involves also a huge amount of thinking around cybersecurity of these systems. So I'm having training mechanical engineers within my company just about some basics of cybersecurity. cybersecurity so that they get the context. So yeah, adding cyber to systems engineers, mechanical engineers, electronics engineers, I think that is the future of education. That's where we need to go.
I do agree. A great advocacy. I see a technical leader within you, Betty, and cyber is everywhere, not just mechanical, electrical, any field of engineering. Cybersecurity has become a mandatory piece into every engineering because we need to make sure the system is safe. Now, further, I want to pull you out of cybersecurity and technical stuff and ask a generic question. As a woman in a leadership role within the cybersecurity field, have you faced specific challenges, and what advice do you have for aspiring female professionals looking to make a mark in this industry?
Great question. I have to be honest, it wasn't always easy. Especially I finished technical high school at the second half in the 90s, and then studying in my first jobs, in my 20s and 30s. I mean, I ended up in meeting rooms where it was 17 men and myself.
Wow.
And you often don't realize it because what you just want to get on is with, your engineering task, and with your work, because I was always so passionate about it. But it takes a toll on you. It does. It is a weird environment that is at times difficult to navigate, but I just kept on going because the job is just way too much fun and interesting to give up. And I'm actually very, very encouraged by what I'm seeing, the next generation of female engineers coming. And I hope they really, really don't have to go through all the challenges I faced. And if someone is listening and thinking about going into cybersecurity or not, then the only thing I can say is do it. Do it. It's just so much fun. It is really the best job you will ever have. I think life in general is not easy, and we are evolving as a society moving forward. But where you can make a difference and where it's really fun to do so is in the cybersecurity field.
What a great story, Betty. Very emotional. I can see you getting emotional while sharing this. And thanks for not giving up and encouraging the young female professionals. And I would encourage the transport sector to welcome our female engineers and female colleagues into this great industry. While looking into all your answers, could you share a specific case or project where your cybersecurity expertise played a crucial role in enhancing the security posture of a transportation system?
Oh, there is so much to pick from. I'm struggling to nail one down. But the one case or something that I developed that I really like, and it seems to have such a simple but big impact on railway cybersecurity maturity itself, was the Railway Cybersecurity Maturity Matrix I developed. And it is basically a questionnaire of 25 questions to give you a bit of a score, a ranking from 1 to 5 in 5 different aspects. And if you're slow, you should be able to do it in 10 minutes. And that was the whole purpose, because at that time the industry was discussing all these wonderful big threat and risk assessments that take months and months to develop, and setting up cybersecurity management programs that take years to have a great effect and measurable effect. And I wanted to create something very simple that literally you can do in 10 minutes, and you know roughly where you are and have already a great answer when the question comes, well, what do I do next to improve my cybersecurity posture? And thankfully it was also seen as valuable by the Railway Industrial Association, and it was seen as valuable from the National Cybersecurity Center as a really quick tool that has now even the potential very quickly just to benchmark the whole industry. Where are we, and are we developing in the right direction? So that's one thing that I'm really proud of, that I've seen just really gives a really, really good overview in a very, very simple way.
Great case Yes, Betty, it's a really great case and great project as well. Looking ahead, what do you believe will be the next frontier in cybersecurity for transportation, and what steps should industry professionals take to stay ahead of emerging threats?
I always love these questions. Try to predict the future. It's not easy, but what we already see is coming, and it will just get more and more of it. New technologies, more digitalization, more interconnectivity, IoT, AI. All of these technologies have brilliant use cases and business cases, and there's a reason for why they are being deployed. The only thing we should really do is deploy them with an open eye and with an open mind around cybersecurity, because the huge amount of interconnectivity and the huge amount of digitalization creates a dependency then on this connectivity, creates a dependency on digitalization. And when these systems don't work properly, don't work as they were intended to, which can be with flaws, by misusing them, by not properly trained people using them with errors. So the sources or the reasons why they're not working properly can be very different, but suddenly the effects are not just contained on a small piece of infrastructure or maybe just one railway operator. The incidents can now propagate really through systems and systems and system of systems, through to a whole country, through to, especially in Europe, in many interconnected countries, through whole continents. So whenever you deploy technology, just make yourself aware of the consequences and think about cybersecurity. And maybe sometimes, I have to say, cybersecurity can be very easy at times when you deploy a system that is not really critical, that in general has been developed with a good quality engineering. And if this system fails, there are not many consequences, then no, then you don't have to do any special cybersecurity controls. Sometimes it can be that easy. But if it is a system that is very critical and many other systems depend on it, well, then you should really, really take care of it and really focus on it. So just deploy technology with open eyes. That's advice.
Beautiful advice and great answers. You know what, Betty? I would really love to invite you again on this podcast and especially focus on one particular safety critical system and subsystem and discuss it throughout the podcast period. To be honest, I really love talking to you, and thank you for your time to come onto this podcast and share your wisdom with us.
Well, thank you very much, Rahman. It was great pleasure. Very, great questions, variety of questions, yeah. And hope to be back soon. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe everyone listening to this podcast has got something to take away from today's discussion. If you like this podcast, please listen, follow, and share this podcast within your network. If you believe we should be sharing your story or someone within your network, there is a railway leader who should be here sharing his or her contribution to this industry. Contact me on railway transportation systems at gmail.com. Thank you for your time today. See you next fortnight. Until then, stay safe and take care of yourself.